Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright. So, I'm having a pretty good day. I went downtown today after having that conversation with you guys about all the stuff that's going on with Kendrick and Drake. I decided to take the train a little further. I didn't feel like going to Hollywood today, but I knew I needed to go to somebody's Target. So I walked down to the Staples Center. Didn't decide to make a video or anything. I just walked all the way down and then turned all the way back up and went to the Target over there in that area. Grabbed some bananas, grabbed some grapes, that kind of thing. And then I headed to the Chick-fil-A that was across the street that I didn't even know was there, right next to the train station. Grabbed myself a salad, sat there, watched a little bit of the basketball game, and finished that up and then went into the train station. As I was going to the train station, Kendrick dropped another song. This one was kind of funny, but he was still punching below the belt and trying to bury old Drake. So I don't know if y'all see how my reaction was to that video, to what they got going on. You can see the videos and that I reacted to all of that stuff to some degree. You know, I just think that we have bigger fish to fry. I like what's going on with the music. I think it's amusing. I'm very entertained, but like my third eye is not amused just the same, if that makes any sense. Meanwhile, there's heavy bombing in Rafah right now, Palestinian area, where a lot of people are living, a lot of kids over there. They're bombing the hell out of that as we speak. At the same time, Kendrick's dropping another song. They bombing the hell out of that place. And it's just, I don't know, man. I just got a weird feeling that those two things are not independent. And that's essentially what I was saying to you. Like, they're trying to distract the hell out of us. So they send the two biggest rappers in the world at each other's throats right in time for all of us to be paying attention to something else other than the crazy, stupid shit they're doing. You're welcome. All good, buddy. I've done it before. Anyway, so that's one of those scary situations where a ball goes into the middle of the street while a truck is coming. So my mother taught me, where there's a ball, there's child. If you're driving your car and you see a ball, slow down, because a kid could likely be running after it. I always kept that in my head. So in this situation, as I'm walking, I see a truck coming and I see the ball, so I make eye contact with the truck, and then I go get the ball. Just in case a kid want to run out there in the middle of the street, I'll take the hit. So that's really what it is, man. That's what you just saw me do. And there was a little kid too. He's probably no older than like 8. And another one was young too. So yeah, man, this is what grown-ups do when they care about the well-being of children. I ain't gotta wait for the children to be my kids. I don't have to wait for whether or not to see if they're Muslim or Jewish or Christian, and if or white or black or Spanish. You get where I'm going with this? If we're gonna act like we're gonna be responsible adults and act like we care about children, you're gonna help save whomever's children. Palestinian children, Israeli children. There are no bad children, just bad adults raising children. That's it. We can take every child in Israel right now, give them the truth about what's going on in Palestine, and they will stand with Palestine, because that's what kids do. They follow what you teach them. And if you teach them right from wrong, you get them off to the right path. You teach them how to study, how to have discipline, how to respect themselves, how to respect others, how to see through the fog of this world, how to respect a higher power in themselves. Believe me, you won't have too many bad people. It takes a village to raise a child. And what we have here is a village raising our children to be indifferent, to hate, to be distracted, to be consumers, to be into, you know, the distractions of our culture, and not looking to be able to compartmentalize what's important and what's not, prioritize what's important and what's not, love money, hate self, hate others type stuff. And we gotta be teachers out here as grown-ups. We gotta be teachers, bro, because at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to save the generation's future is us teaching them right now as youngsters how to see through the fog. Our government doesn't care about those kids. That's obvious. They don't care about our kids. They don't care about their kids. They care about their money. They have a bigger picture idea about what human beings are worth later on. Now that technology and AI is taking over, you can clearly see the value of a life is not very high to these people. That is not our problem. That's what I'm here to tell you. While they're putting very little value on human life, we need, as human beings out here, need to continue to put value on our lives, because they can play God. There's a real one, and we need to adhere to him. I don't know what your religion is, and the older I get, the more I realize it does not matter. You're still under God. So you can pray to Allah, you can pray to Buddha, you can pray to Jesus. Is still you under God at the end of the day. And if once we lose sight of that aspect of it, we really end up astray. I don't think he really, and I'm just saying this out of my own understanding. There's going to be a lot of people from a lot of different religions who definitely disagree, including people from the religion I was raised in. I don't think it matters what religion you find him in. You just make sure you find him. The older I get, the more I realize that the power ain't in the religion, it's in the intention and the faith. He's not a stickler for know-how, because like I said, the world is teaching us how not to know. Quite literally how to do things the other way. So at this point in 2024, my belief is that it really doesn't matter which religion you hug up on, so long as it teaches compassion and that there is one God. You're going to find him. And that to adhere to good and evil and right and wrong and those various different rules that have to do with these things, that's what really matters right now. Because you best believe we got the same enemy. I keep telling people, we got the same enemy. You can be religious or non-religious, but you're still under God, man. And if you don't believe in God, then you're right in the devil's hands, right where he wants you to be. That's where we're at with it. I'm not interested in adhering to anything that would otherwise believe otherwise, because I've already been proven not only that God exists, but that his enemy is fighting hard against all of us in the name of hurting him. So while we're sitting here, as I've said many times, trying to figure out if God exists or trying to deny him, the enemy is active, super active. And who is he attacking? Those who are most passionate about God, who are not of my religion. And this is what I've come to understand. He wants to attack those who praise God the most. The Muslim people, the Christian people of Palestinian descent, who are not lost in the Western distraction, walk the tightrope between sin and holiness energy. They're not with that. They're not doing a lot of that. They're praising God all day long. And this is who the enemy wants to attack. They're not looking to trying to get the most. It's not about getting wealthy over there. It's not about getting famous over there. It's not about stepping on somebody else. Because nobody has anything. And the Israelis are stepping on them. It's about praising God for what little you have and continuing to endure. That's what they're about. And you know what? That's exactly who the enemy does not want us to be. That's exactly who the devil does not want us to be. While we're sitting up here engaging in all the different stuff that keeps us walking that tightrope between good and evil. Some days we want to be good. Some days we want to be really good. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It doesn't work, man. At the end of the day, we're just making a life for ourselves that's going to tumble forward things to our children that's worse than what we have, man. While we're sitting here being selfish, being sinful, being distracted, being docile and careful not to step on the toes of those who are doing evil. Very careful. I see a world full of people that are careful not to offend the evil ones. Careful not to offend them, or mischaracterizing what evil truly is. It's something that needs to be said, man. We're all sinners, first and foremost. But every third person I see standing up for Palestine, and this is just for my eyesight, every third person is from the LGBTQ community. Every third person. So if they're the worst people in the world, or if I'm supposed to draw the line there, I see way more straight people being careful not to step on the toes of the evil ones. And way more them speaking up, speaking out, and being alive in the sense that they're going to push forward more life for the children of Palestine, more life for the children who are going up against these evil circumstances. So if they can weigh that against whatever their sins are, should I not be able to stand down when it comes to condemning them for their sins? Especially when I know a lot of straight people have wicked, sexual, deviant ways. Very wicked. Do you understand what I'm saying? You illegal, weirdo stuff that straight people claim to be doing, while they sitting up here condemning the LGBTQ for their energy and what it is they engage in and what we consider sin. I see more of them doing God's work with my own eyes. It just is what it is. They doing more to good. They speaking out more, it seems to me, from what I'm seeing, than these straight folks. So if I'm to condemn them, if that's where I draw the line with good and evil, something's wrong there. Because it's not passing the eye test. It's not passing the eye test, friends. I'm just being honest. It ain't passing the eye test. A lot of time religious people, when they start drawing the line, that's where they draw the line. Not a genocide, but a same-sex marriage. Like, it ain't okay. It's okay to kill kids, but it ain't okay to be a grown person having consensual sex with another grown person or whatever way y'all want to do it. I'm sorry, I just don't think that's what, that don't pass the eye test, y'all. It don't. We can stand on that, and maybe God doesn't like that, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't like other things even more. Even more. Like people being quiet or engaging in nonsense when real stuff is happening. They need to speak up on it. Speak up on what's happening in this violent world we're in, where people are trying to take your life. They don't care how you love. They want to take you out. Why? Because you're the son of Amalek. And they want to make fun of it while they're doing it too. It ain't enough to do it. They got to make folly of the situation. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm supposed to draw the line with stuff like little sins. Like, not to say that I can put measure on sin, but like that's not where God wants us to focus, man. It's who do we accept and who do we not? Because that's what Israel's doing. They don't accept those guys, and we're gonna kill them all off and all of this. That's what they're doing. That's not what we need to be doing. We need to be doing the opposite of that. Embracing anybody who's good enough to overcome the nonsense that this world provides. Anyone who's decent of a human being enough to accept someone else for their differences instead of wanting to annihilate them for those differences. That is really what this should be about. Religion try to separate us. Culture don't separate us. Differences in region gonna separate us. But I'm telling you, we got to rise up above all of that. Understand that we got the same enemy. We focus on which God is the right God, but you need to understand it's the same devil, no matter what religion you're talking about. That's the focus. How do we defeat that thing? How do we overcome that thing? And I'm telling you, we ain't gonna never agree on religion. We ain't gonna never agree on which sin is the worst one. We ain't, you know what I'm saying? We just try to stay away from all sin. I think that's what this is teaching us. That the Z's have focused in on controlling all of the things from which they can provide sin to the masses in the Western world. All of the 7 deadly sins, they've put themselves in a position to benefit from all of it. Thou shalt not kill, they benefit in the bombs and the guns. Thou shalt not commit adultery, they got all types of different things out there that's going to push that energy on you. Thou shalt not, what is it? No gluttony, you're not supposed to engage in gluttony. They're giving us all types of messed up foods. Like everything you could think of that you shouldn't do. Thou shalt not steal, they stealing whole land. Whole lands. They're pushing people into poverty and desperate situations that'll force them into thinking they need to sin in order to eat, in order to steal in order to eat. They control all of the sins, man. They control all of the sins, and that includes the LGBTQ. And they push that stuff on the kids and try to force them into seeing things one way or another. Whatever sin is, they're trying to force you into it. So that you will pay into it so they can benefit from it. And then stay in power and keep you guilty, compromised. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. It ain't about whose sin is the worst. It's about how can we defeat the enemy, man. How can we stay focused? How can we stay sharp? How can we get our minds in a space where we're not distracted? We can still enjoy our pastimes, but have the balance to know, hey, yo, what's going on in Rafa is still happening in Rafa. While I'm paying attention to Kendrick Lamar and Drake, what's going on in Rafa is what's going on in Rafa. Maybe we could try to coerce Drake to stop focusing and Kendrick to stop focusing on each other, start focusing on this. If they not compromised, which they obviously are when they controlled by contracts signed to them by the Z's. I mean, we got to start being honest about this stuff, man. Letting the bad guys run the world, and this is how. You're letting people who are liars and hypocrites run the earth, and this is how. By not giving a damn about nothing but what you got going on right now. It's the only way they can control everything is by way of the things that we shouldn't be doing and that they benefit from. And you really consider it. So that's what I'm telling y'all, man. Let's get our heads out our backsides. Let's stop pointing, trying to figure out who's the right God, or trying to figure out if we're adhering to what he wants us to do. If we're not hurting one another, we're on the right track. Believe me. Because there's an enemy trying to instigate fights between all of us. Have us fighting each other over God. How are you fighting over God? God created everything. How are you fighting over him? You can't do nothing to him. You can't. But you're trying to punish him by killing his creation. What makes that make sense to you as you engage in that behavior? You believe some lie that Amalek needs to be destroyed and that you're supposed to be the eraser? Why would he need you to do that? Why would he need you to do that? If you believe in all-seeing eye and the God that is above, why would he need you to annihilate anything? Couldn't he just take care of that himself with the weather or something? You chosen for what? Teach us all a lesson that we need to wake up and stand against energy like you. That's all you were chosen for. Show us an example of what we should never want to become. And you're unwise to know it, but that's exactly what you're chosen for. Z's, Zionists, that's what you're chosen for. You think God chose you to do certain things? Yes, to teach us a lesson. Teach us how to not be you. Teach us how to stand against you. Teach us how to overcome you. That's all you were chosen to do. If he told you to do anything evil, it was only to teach us how to defeat you. That's it. He's supposed to be destroying anything. You're supposed to be protecting stuff. You got all the power. You're supposed to be the big brother. You're supposed to be protecting everything. You got all the understanding. You got all the information. That's your job, to make sure that everybody else is protected, not destroyed. You teaching your kids it backwards by way of your example. I got everything. Now let's try to keep some of it from everybody else. Keep everybody else from coming up. How does that work? If gardens behave that way, it'll be nothing but weeds. If animals behave that way, it'll be nothing but bones. Make some sense of what it is that you're doing. And don't just follow doctrine that's supposed to teach us lessons on how to overcome the evil that you do. Be better, change, be better. That's all I'm saying. People are too dense and following too many of one another instead of following what makes sense to us. If you're trying to build anything, you certainly can't do it by being destructive. If you're trying to have any variety, you certainly can't do it by erasing everything but what looks like you. And if you're trying to respect the environment around you, you can't possibly think that destruction and pain and suffering is what should be coming from within your energy. What should be inflicted on others. If you really want to have a good environment, you certainly ain't going to get it by burning everything down. So tell me, Zionists, what are you actually trying to accomplish? By bombing everything in a certain place and chastising everybody who wants to stop you from doing it. What exactly are you trying to do? What is your role in this garden? And you're afraid to ask that question because you would have to answer it by saying, I am the one that teaches everyone how to not be like me. That's really what you're going to come up with. And then comes the suffering that comes thereafter, which is why I'm here to tell y'all, don't follow them. Don't follow them. It's not cool to follow them. They make no sense of what they do. They don't have real purpose on this earth other than to be destructive. There's nothing there but pain thereafter. All the folly they engage in, it reflects poorly upon them. All the different stuff they do, it's going to hurt them eventually. That's it. All the bad that people do, it come back to them tenfold. While they're trying to inflict that type of math on individuals, and that math is going to come back on them. Every child deserves to be protected. Everybody deserves a chance at education and opportunity and love and what have you. Everybody's going to be a sinner. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Everybody thinks that they're a leader to some degree, even if they don't have those traits. It is what it is, man. But we can't follow those who don't have real purpose as it pertains to building anything, but want to be the loudest, want to be the most strong, but don't really actually want to build anything. You can't follow those people off a cliff. You can't be silent while they do whatever they do. You can't let them think that they the ones should be raising the kids when their intention is to destroy them. It's time to take our world back, man. It's time to take our minds back. And if we ain't smart enough to do that, we're going to lose everything. All of us. Not just the Zionists. We're going to let their karma engulf all of us if we don't stand up against their bullcrap. I'm just being honest with y'all. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what background you're from. I don't care if you hate me because of the color of my skin. You need to understand what comes of that. You need to understand what comes of that. Your own suffering. Not just the people you want to suffer. Not just my own suffering that comes with you wanting to inflict any pain on me. But the karma thereafter. And if you believe God is not somebody to play with, if you really believe in God, then you know damn well following those who want to destroy an entire people does not reflect positively upon you. See the Nazis and their views and what came of them. Zionists are no different. There's a Z there too. Last. And that is exactly where they're going to be when it matters most. Y'all better understand what I'm trying to say to you. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. Out.